Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thank you for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. Precious metals is in this weird category since our investment does better when things get worse. Some people say, we're hoping for things to get bad because then at least we make money, but I don't really think that's the way to look at it. We just expect things to get bad. We know it's inevitably happening, and that's why we're investing into those types of things. Gold only benefits when the economy's in bad shape, right? In times of war, in times of, economic turmoil, gold benefits. Gold doesn't benefit when things are going good. So anyone who invests in gold could be looked at as, you're just hoping for things to get worse. We're just expecting it to because we know the reality of the situation. And same goes for silver, but silver's a little different since it's also an industrial metal. Silver even does benefit when things are going good. It's the best of both worlds. It's a win-win situation. No matter what happens, silver can benefit, unlike gold. Regardless, though, we know that there is a lot of stuff happening globally, right? Globally. And if you want to talk about the war, I mean, a single Russian Tomahawk missile uses 500 ounces of silver. A single one. This article is going to be mentioning how silver's inching higher as Putin escalates the war. Now, I really hope that you stick all the way through this video because this conversation only gets deeper and deeper. And towards the end, we're going to have a very serious discussion. So before we start, I did want to mention that my 60,000 subscriber silver giveaway entry video is still currently open, but I'll be announcing the winner soon. I'm just waiting for all the prizes to arrive. And yes, that's how big this giveaway is. I also want to ask you, do you want one winner to win a boatload of silver or like 3, 4, or 5, 6 winners even? I like when there's one winner because then that person feels like they hit the literal jackpot. Whereas if you have 5 or 6 winners, you have to split it up and the prizes aren't as big. I want, a giveaway is fun if you win a couple ounces, but if you win and you're the only winner to really win all that silver makes it just a whole different level, but then your chances are a lot slimmer. So let me know. Let me know in the comment section below what you prefer. Also, Andy Scheckman is donating to the winner, the CEO of Miles Franklin. If you want to purchase from Miles Franklin, which by the way, they will match any other price from any major retailer dealer out there. So if you see a price better than his or find a really good price somewhere and you send him that link or screenshot it, he will match it. So you literally cannot find a place to buy silver or gold cheaper than Miles Franklin. That is literally the cheapest place you can go. Plus, they've never had a negative review in 45 years. And Miles Franklin is one of the only few dealers that can still purchase, works with the U.S. Mint. The U.S. Mint cut off everyone publicly. Even most dealers, APMEX, all these other places, they cannot purchase from the U.S. Mint anymore. But Andy still can. So building a business relationship with him, buying through him, that will take you very far, much farther than any other place you could buy silver from. So anyways, just send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. The website will be up very, very soon, but emailing him is just as easy. So the link to this article will be in the description. Silver yesterday settled up 1.69%. This was written September 22nd, so 2 days ago. I always try to give you guys the latest, freshest, most recent information in the world regarding precious metals. Obviously, it's the weekend now, so there's not going to be any new info coming out. So this is, some of the most recent stuff coming out from investing.com. And silver's up 1.69% as investors monitored increased geopolitical tensions with Russia and braced for another hefty interest rate hike by the U.S. Federal Reserve. So geopolitical tensions returned to the fore after Russian President Vladimir Putin announced the partial mobilization of his country's military and a significant escalation of war in Ukraine. As the war in Ukraine reaches nearly 7 months and Moscow loses ground on the battlefield, Putin said in a rare national address that Russia would use all the means at its disposal to protect its territory. So, one, if you just want to talk about the amount of silver that's about to be blown into the ground, never to be recycled or recovered, that's a whole separate thing. I mean, I'll never forget when Michelle McCory on Kitco News was interviewing David Morgan, and they were talking about how a single Russian Tomahawk missile uses 500 ounces of silver. That's just a missile. Imagine all the other artillery and everything else that's just getting used. And I mean, we're talking about, you know, for months, and who knows if this is years. That's a lot itself. But then the speculative aspect of this thing, all the fear, uncertainty, doubt, especially as people are turning more to safe havens. You have these big public figures that are also mentioning silver, as Robert Kiyosaki yesterday, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, tweeted that he's predicting $500 silver. I mean, there's just from every single angle, it's looking like people are just hearing about silver and are wanting to get into it. And there's already a very, very low supply. So the Russian leader also backed plans for Russia to annex occupied areas of southern and eastern Ukraine, appearing to threaten nuclear retaliation if Kyiv continues its efforts to reclaim that land. The monetary policy decisions from the Bank of Japan, Swiss National Bank, and Bank of England are due on Thursday. Existing home sales, and by the way, actually coming back up here, this type of stuff, the assumption, the speculation, the theorizing could push prices one way or another anyways. I mean, the best example I could think of is, the week leading up to the Federal Reserve uh, meeting, when people are assuming what Federal Chairman Jerome Powell is going to come out and say about interest rate hikes or whatever. The markets go crazy because people are thinking, or they'll hear a rumor of, oh, he's going to say this, or he's going to say this, and the markets are moving off of all guesses. Nobody knows what he's going to say, but people are thinking that it's going to go this way, so then the market's up or down, and then he comes out and announces what's happening, and then the markets kind of change. Well, they do change, but the thing about that is, the thing about that is that even when he comes out and says something, that's not factual either, because they'll use words like our hope, or we're aiming to, or our goal is to, like, it's even those numbers have to be taken very lightly, because usually they'll say something, but when that time comes, that's not actually what happens. It's all speculative. And like I always said, I hate that S word, speculation, because when you're talking about something fundamental with intrinsical value, precious metals, physical precious metals, speculation shouldn't have as much of a pull as it does with other investments or other markets. Figures compare with market forecasts of $4.7 million. The median existing home sales price rose 7.7% from 1 year ago to $389,500. So, anyways, that's kind of what's happening right now. I'm not going to go into, the rupees and all that stuff, but regardless, we know that this war is only going to keep escalating, and it's looking like silver will be benefiting from that to some extent. We could go over the silver prices. Let's look at the 1 week chart. You can see a very, very large decline. The $20 resistance level is going to be something we have to break through if you want to see higher prices anytime soon. You saw it was $19.67 on Thursday, and then by Friday, it's down to $18.88. A huge, huge drop in one day. Let's look at the 1 month chart. We saw it around 19, saw it up to 1985. Then it just cannot break above $20. If it does, I think we would see probably $23 very shortly after, just because all the hype lately. But in my opinion, it really doesn't matter. Look at the 6 month chart. I mean, things are just, it looks like a waterfall, right? It looks like a waterfall. Look, what about the year today? Yeah, it looks like a waterfall. But regardless, I really don't want the price to break above $20 right now. I still want to be accumulating more silver for cheaper, especially since we've been having to pay these crazy high premiums. Why would you want the price to go up when that means you have to pay more for your silver? The only reason you would want the price to go up right now is if you're planning on selling, and I really hope you're not planning on selling anytime soon. The only other reason you would want the price to go up right now is that you need validation or confirmation that it can. If you're a true silver stacker, you don't need the validation or confirmation because you know $19.11 is a steal, an absolute steal for an ounce of silver. So if you need it to go up, that means that you're worried that it might not, or that it won't, and you know it will, especially when you look at the reality. I mean, look at the all-time chart. Do you think this chart is just going to go back down to this and stay there, given the LBMA vaults and COMEX vaults emptied, given the fact that the amount of silver we're going to need in the next 10 years is going to be tenfold? I mean, solar panels, the demand for solar panels increased 15% this year alone. How many billions of ounces will we need by the year 2025, 2020, or 2030? It's unrealistic. We already can barely keep up with the demand this year as we exceeded a billion ounces. I mean, look, given all the circumstances, and not only just from the supply deficit, low supply, high demand pushes the price up. Demand alone pushes the price up. If you ever look at a chart of silver demand versus the supply, they mimic each other. But also given that production is slowing down, demand is booming, and recycling isn't really doing anything. I mean, it's just the perfect storm is here. So if you think, given all that, and I haven't even included the monetary side of things with the dollar and people pushing more into precious metals and not selling, if you really think, given all that, that the price is still just going to stay down here, then you're either one, you're delusional, two, you have some biased opinion, or three, you just don't get the picture, and you shouldn't invest into anything at that point, because that means that one, you don't understand the value of a dollar, and two, you don't understand the value of silver. Those are very important things to understand. So it's a steal, and that's why right now, even if I have to pay a five, six, seven, eight, $9 premium, I do not care, because whether I'm paying $24 for an eagle or $30 for an eagle, $4 means absolutely nothing to me, because I understand that even if I have to pay $4 more, that ounce of silver that I'm getting is a million times more valuable than the $4 difference. I don't care. The only reason you could care is that that $4 you saved could go to another ounce. But I mean, I'm not one of those coupon type people. I'm not the type of person that's going to go drive 10 miles out to get gas. It's 5 cents cheaper when I just spent that much driving to that gas station 10 miles out. I'm just not one of those people. I just, if I see silver for $30, $35, something, and I feel like it is a good deal or it's something I'm willing to purchase, I'll grab it. I'm not going to hold off, and because of $4 that I'll probably spend going to get Starbucks, just don't buy Starbucks. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. Some people are very nitpicky when it comes to that type of stuff, and good for you, do your thing. But regardless, I just try to look at money as money, which is relevant, and at least I'm putting fake money into real money, even if I have to pay $31 for an eagle instead of 27 that I could have got somewhere else. I don't know. That's just me. Are you like that as well? I feel like most people aren't like that. Most people want the cheapest of the cheap, which is good. But, if there's a reason why I would rather go pay $31, whether it's a more trusted site or whether the Eagle's in better condition or whatever the case is, then I'm going to do that. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. The link to that article will be in the description from investing.com. Make sure that you go subscribe if you want to enter my giveaway. Um, Also, if you want to purchase from Miles Franklin, the cheapest prices you can literally find anywhere, send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. A lot of you have been buying from them lately. Someone made a very, very, very large purchase from them the other day. Uh, he built an instant relationship with Andy. I mean, that guy has a source now. We always talked about like Elon Musk, people like that having a source to a large supplier that can get their hands on unlimited amounts of silver, not limited, but much larger amounts than most people can. And Andy is a person that can do that because he is an authorized dealer with the U.S. Mint. But not only that, he knows some very big players in the game, and these guys are secret. Like he was telling me about this guy. Nobody talks about him. Nobody, but he is like the guy that to go to. He just this very secretive shadow that can get he has those connections. That's how he could fill that. That's how he filled that $50 million order. I can guarantee nobody else in the world could fill that $50 million order besides Andy. So building a relationship, especially if you're a big dog like that, that's very beneficial. And I'm glad that guy that made that large purchase went through Andy, because if he would have went through anyone else, he would be screwed. Nobody could have filled the type of orders that he's talking about making, especially if he does keep buying more. So I'm glad, and that guy mentioned my name. He found Andy through me. So for me to be able to help that guy, build that type of relationship with the direct source, I mean, that is beyond, beneficial, So, and I don't even know the guy's name or anything, obviously we wouldn't talk about that type of stuff, but regardless, just I know that someone did, and I'm very happy, and I'm glad that you all are working with him, because like I said, that he's the most beneficial person to be working with out of any other site. Even more, I'm not going to say any names, but if you're really talking about building a relationship with someone who has direct connections that can get you anything, that is the nicest guy in the world, Miles Franklin is definitely that company, because Andy Scheckman, I mean, even he's taken me under his wing just because, he said, "You're young, you could be my, I'm 30." He was like, "You're as young as my, like, I could be your son," or, I could be his son. He sees potential in me. He sees I'm passionate. He's like, "I'm going to take you under my wing, and we're going to help build you up." And just the fact that he would do that for me speaks for itself, and that he's willing to take time out of his day, weekly or every week, to do our show. He's a busy man. He has to cancel other plans to put an hour and a half away to do that show with me. But he's doing that for me and for you guys, and I love people like that are helping just to help. He gains nothing from doing that with me. He's doing it to help me, not anything for his sake, and I appreciate the hell out of him for that. So yeah, anyways, and even with the David Morgan interview, he found out that I idolized David Morgan, and one of the first things he did for me was set up an interview and introduce me to David Morgan. And now I could talk to David Morgan whenever I want. I did an interview with him. David wants to come back on the show. He gave me a signed copy of his book. He's doing things for me that's going to help this channel grow and help make better content for you all. Even him donating to the winner. He doesn't have to do that stuff. So yeah, anyways, sorry I mentioned that. I know a lot of you guys always say, "Why do you always mention Andy?" And that's because Andy has been the one person in my life that single-handedly just took my entire career, this channel, 10 steps higher. So yeah, anyways, thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.